Thank you, Mike. Good afternoon, everybody. I think you promoted me a couple times. I was not a head of the War College or postgraduate school, but I did play a significant role. Again, good afternoon. My attempt is going to be to take us from a strategic level to a tactical level with regards to what we experienced as an American company doing business in Saudi Arabia. We're basically a consulting company and a training company. We specialize with maritime or in maritime services, and we build training simulators. At the same time, we're a government contractor. So with that in mind, we had to be very deliberate with regards to our approach to entering the Saudi market. Our first journey into Saudi Arabia was in November 2008. And really, as we fell into, and I like what you said with regards to doing your homework, fell into considering going to Saudi Arabia, we knew nothing of the region. So prior to even attending that first trade mission that was sponsored by the U.S. Saudi Arabian Business Council, we invited some local PhD candidates to visit our company headquarters, and we asked them to give us a little bit from their perspective on Saudi culture. We also committed to speaking Arabic or learning to speak Arabic. We thought it was important right off the bat. The other thing we did is though it was proposed to us to enter the market, we hadn't thought about it prior to that July-November timeframe. So we developed a vision. In other words, were we going to be committed for the long term? Were we just going there for one event? Or were we going to have the staying power and determine, or the staying power and stay and demonstrate commitment to the market? The next thing that we did is we joined the U.S. Saudi Arabian Business Council. If you're not familiar with the council, I invite you to find out about it. It was a great resource for us. They helped us with market analysis. They helped us with regards to getting our business visas. And really, I think to this day, they're still a great resource. The other thing that we did prior to going on that first trade mission is we focused on trying to develop relationships. And it's one thing, you know, when you think about that in a business environment, but when you think about the fact that Saudi Arabia was a completely different culture, for us, what we were really focused in on was how are we going to interact with businesses in Saudi Arabia? And really, it was only going to be by learning and by establishing those relationships. And then the last component, and this is more on my part, I think I had a lot to do with it, is we tried to get a sense for the geopolitical environment that Saudi Arabia was. That without having that grounding piece first, that we felt that we might miss the mark. So that was a big focus for us. Our initial trade mission lasted 5 days. We went to Riyadh for 3 and then went to Dammam. We weren't prepared for how well received we would be. When we went on this trade mission, we had meetings in the daytime, but then we also had meetings at night. And I'm here to tell you that Saudi businessmen will work you hard. In other words, you know, you're used to the 9 to 5. Well, we had meetings at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, midnight. Very, very normal for that to happen in Saudi Arabia. One of the things that we did when we went on our first business trip was we had already planned our second trip. And the idea was that when we entered into discussions with Saudi businessmen, we wanted to be able to demonstrate that commitment and that thought that we were going to come to the market and that we were staying. Once back from that first business trip, we had some mixed results. And what I mean by that was one of my jobs was to establish relationships, to collect the business cards, to get the contact information. And then we came back to Virginia, and I diligently sent out a bunch of emails. And 2 weeks into it, I hadn't received a single response. I really thought that I had it wrong. And I spent a tremendous amount of time beating my head against the wall, wondering how we had really missed it. And then I had this epiphany. The epiphany was, in the U.S., we work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, 8 to 5. In Saudi Arabia, the business week starts on a Saturday, Saturday to Wednesday. The second thing is there's an 8-hour time difference. So the epiphany was, let me get up on a Saturday morning at 2 o'clock in the morning, Virginia time, and start making phone calls. As soon as I did that, the whole world opened up. Our next trip was 10 days. We had 18 events scheduled, and I scheduled 2 per day. But I'll tell you, I started to make friends, and then I started to meet a lot of people, and with those 2 events, we were actually averaging about 5 events per day. And then from there, it just kind of took off. VSD entered the market in November 2008, and what you have there is my travel schedule for the past 3 years. Results. What came out of all this? I think everybody can recognize that Saudi Arabia is a vibrant market. For us, what it comes down to is we have 2 completed contracts under our belt. We have 1 imminent signing, and it's potentially going to be a game changer. VSD chose to go at it alone from the perspective that we took advantage of the new rule established by SAGIA in the kingdom, which is that you can seek commercial registration on your own. We decided to do that. It took us a while to get it done. Part of it is because we didn't get it right the first time, and maybe we could have benefited by, by having that Saudi partner, but we chose to go it alone, and we were able to attain our commercial registration 6 months ago. We grew. When I first came to Saudi Arabia in 2008, we had 40 employees. We're now over 100. The most important part, I think, for me that I can pass on to you is the lessons learned component by being up here. The first one is we engaged with translation services. That was important. Market intelligence. We deployed as many tools as we could to try and do research on the Saudi companies on the front side. Affiliation, I think you heard me say earlier, with the U.S. Saudi Arabian Business Council was key. We also, as a Virginian, had a tremendous amount of assistance from the Virginia Economic Development Partnership. I suspect that many of the other states that you all are from have those as well. One of the things that we didn't consider was gender management. Work and life happens different in Saudi Arabia than it does in the U.S. And for us, we chose to take a look at this as in, we're going to be successful in Saudi. Some of our employees happen to be women. How is that going to play out? What do we need to consider? And that proved out to be really good that we had those discussions early on. One of the comments that I have up here is don't be too eager to sign. I think this also plays into this courtship that you alluded to. You really do have to know who you're dealing with. And if you get something thrown in front of you, just hold off a little bit, figure out where the wind is blowing, and slow down. We did our marketing in English. English is a business language in Saudi Arabia. We did our business cards in Arabic. The Department of Commerce was an important resource that I think many Americans don't realize. The Department of Commerce is embedded in the U.S. Embassy, and it's live and well in Riyadh. We had a tremendous amount of assistance with regards to introducing us to partners there as well. Export trade compliance was near and dear to my heart. We're a government contractor. We're a technology company. We didn't know what we didn't know 3 years ago, and that was a learning experience. And then the last bullet I have on there is the American Business Group. There are small to medium-sized enterprises in Saudi Arabia that happen to be American companies, and they have networking events, and they network amongst themselves, and that was a great resource for us as well. What does our future look like? Well, we've been at it for 3 years. We're happy to be in Saudi Arabia. What we're finding is that we're bringing new partners into the kingdom, and part of that is because we don't have all the answers for our Saudi partners, but we've gotten really good at benchmarking and finding American companies that want to team up and partner with us as we go back to the kingdom. We have a solid rollout plan for the next 5 years, and we're leveraging our work in other GCC nations. We started off in Saudi Arabia, but we're working in Egypt, we're working in Iraq, we're working in Sharjah in the UAE. Our focus was in Saudi, love it there, but we also managed to expand. My final comments are three things. The first one is relationships. Everything is about relationships in Saudi Arabia. The second one is your brand is your most precious commodity. Guard it at all cost. Your reputation and your brand go hand in hand. And the last piece I have over here is due diligence. Know who you're doing business with. Know who you're doing business with. And know who you're doing business with. That's it.